What is going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing well here in 2023. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple of news stories in the world of PC gaming software. I guess this is kind of like an all-software episode, as our first topic is going to be about NVIDIA rumored to be utilizing artificial intelligence to develop better drivers that will help to increase performance over time on compatible GeForce graphics cards. So pretty cool stuff, so we'll dive into that. Also, it sounds like we could be seeing the end of MSI Afterburner after some issues with the development, as the main developer that works on it is located out of Russia, and because of the current political climate and everything, it could maybe spell the end of MSI Afterburner support moving forward in the future, but there also may be a bright spot at the end of that news story, so let's get into it. But first, today's video is brought to you by SuperCDK.com, where you could save money on games for all of your favorite platforms, as well as software like Windows 10 Pro licenses for just $22, and then you can unlock the prestigious Dark Mode for Windows 10, which I honestly could not live without. It is blinding without the dark mode. You guys need it in your life. And now you can also save an additional 25% off at checkout by clicking Buy Now on any software products over there. Just go ahead and add it into your cart and put in my code JP25 at checkout and apply, and that'll bring our price from $22.44 all the way down to $16.83, a savings of over $5. And I'll walk you through how to get your key and install it on Windows 10. Go ahead and click Submit Order and complete your checkout from there. For me, that's going to be with PayPal, and then click on Pay Now. After completing the checkout, it'll bring you to your purchased order page, and it will update in a matter of seconds, or just go ahead and hit F5. Go ahead and do that one time. It came through literally immediately. I got the payment email that it had gone through and the delivery of the product exactly at the same time. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click on View Keys and Codes, and we'll get our code right here that we can go ahead and copy and paste in on Windows 10 by hitting the Start button and type in the word Activate. When you see that activation settings, or see if Windows is activated, go ahead and click on that, and it'll bring up this right here, and click on Change Your Product Key or Unlock Windows 10. As I already have Windows 10, I obviously don't need to put in a new key, but just paste it in, and then go ahead and click Next, and you are all done and set. For more information on SuperCDK.com, as well as the coupon code, be sure to check out the links down in the description below. First up, let's discuss this rumor about NVIDIA utilizing artificial intelligence to optimize their future GPU drivers. God, if AMD could do this, they may actually have good drivers for a change. Thankfully, at least for me, for a very long time, NVIDIA drivers have been very solid. I have tons of issues when I use AMD cards with their drivers and performance in games. NVIDIA is usually pretty good, so if they can actually get a leg up and use artificial intelligence to further optimize their drivers even more, that would be pretty crazy. So the source of this rumor comes from the Twitter account for CapFrameX. CapFrameX is a benchmarking tool which I have been using since, I want to say, I believe it was either the 30 series or the 20 series launch of NVIDIA graphics cards. It is a fantastic piece of software. This is it right here. I actually did a full dedicated video when I discovered this software about all the features that I like about it, about being able to compare numbers side by side, and the ease of it, utilizing it, as well as it using audible signals to tell you when it started and ended captures. And it just seems to hook in and work with every single game that I test, regardless of how new the game is, regardless of what API it is, whether I'm using new graphics cards to test it. It just always works, and it's better than literally everything out there by such a country mile that it is not even a joke. I am not kidding. CapFrameX, free software for benchmarking. Fantastic. So they're the Twitter account that posted out this rumor about NVIDIA working on AI optimized drivers, which we could be seeing actually sooner than you might think, possibly even releasing in Q1 of 2023. And according to CapFrameX, in regards to this rumor, it could offer up to 30% more performance on average, though maybe around 10%, which is obviously not as good as 30, but it's still better. And also they did add in a note that there's no info about whether or not this would be for a specific generation of graphics cards, like if they could lock it behind just the 40 series, kind of like they did with frame generation, although I'm not really too sure why that would be a limitation to the 40 series. I mean, with frame gen, it's using the optical flow accelerator and all of that, but if NVIDIA themselves are using artificial intelligence to optimize the drivers before people download them, I'm not really too sure why it would affect you when you download them, unless it's something that's going to happen on the fly when you're already playing, and it's going to optimize, settings and things better than that. When CapFrameX was asked how they're going to utilize AI to help improve the drivers for NVIDIA cards, they said through instructions, throughput, hardware utilization, threading, and settings. So in other words, NVIDIA would plan to use AI to improve multiple aspects of the GPU drivers, which means that the driver-related performance gains will also come from several areas. So it's not going to be just one, silver bullet solution or whatever. It's going to look at a lot of things. Probably, I would imagine, collecting, user data through GeForce Experience, and then maybe utilizing that to optimize drivers going forward by getting data from people using GeForce cards and seeing how they're behaving in their systems, as well as with certain games, certain titles, where maybe they can utilize that data through AI to optimize them a lot quicker than if it was, a hands-on human solution. So kind of exciting stuff, though. I'm looking forward to seeing if this actually comes to fruition. Again, it's a rumor right now from CapFrameX, who's a very reputable source. Not usually the type of people I see posting out rumors and stuff like that. But they have a very reputable, incredible piece of software, which I absolutely love. As I said, I have a full dedicated video on it. I hope that this is true and it actually does offer us some uplift in performance moving ahead in 2023 and, years beyond. I mean, if we can get more performance, just from something like this, I think that's pretty cool. And I don't think anyone's really going to complain about it. And if they do come out with it, I'd be curious to see what AMD can do to have an answer to that, as they're not as deep into artificial intelligence as NVIDIA, as they are just not as big of a company when it comes to, that sort of stuff with AI, smart cars and things along those lines. So NVIDIA has a lot more resources when it comes to artificial intelligence. So we'll just have to wait and see if this comes to fruition. Next up, MSI Afterburner, another longtime beloved piece of software by many PC gamers. There's other softwares out there that do things similar, like EVGA Precision X. If for some reason you've been living under a rock and you're not familiar with MSI Afterburner or Precision X or other programs like it, it is essentially an overclocking tool for graphics cards, whether AMD or NVIDIA, but you can also use it to just adjust things like fan curves, monitoring things in games with the RTSS overlay, the Riva Tuner Statistics Server overlay, which is a separate program that works in conjunction with Afterburner, as well as programs like EVGA Precision X. And thankfully, that's not being affected by this, that's really just the overlay portion of it that you can see in games when you are playing. But the actual software, like you see right here, MSI Afterburner could be in, serious risk of possibly going away because of the political climate right now between Russia and the Ukraine, which has been going on for about 11 months now. So the developer has basically confirmed that the project is essentially dead at this point, and when asked why, he said, "War and politics are the reasons. I didn't mention it in MSI Afterburner development news thread, but the project is semi-abandoned by the company, MSI, during quite a long time already. Actually, we're approaching the 1-year mark since the day when MSI stopped performing their obligations under Afterburner's license agreement due to political situation. I tried to continue performing my obligations and worked on the project on my own during the past 11 months, but it has resulted in nothing but disappointment. I have a feeling that I'm just beating a dead horse and wasting energy on something that is no longer needed by the company. Anyways, I'll try to continue supporting it myself while I have some free time, but will probably need to drop it and switch to something else, allowing me to pay my bills." And that's from his name is Alexei, who is the main developer, or sounding like almost like the only developer behind MSI Afterburner, who's been working on it for years for MSI. But now, because of the political situation, MSI is no longer able to pay him for his work because of all the different sanctions and stuff like that, which is just a terrible situation to be in. Obviously, the issues with Russia and Ukraine are significantly worse than us losing a piece of overclocking software for the PC, but the fact that Russia's actions against the Ukraine has affected, seemingly innocent people like Alexei, who are just developers. And this is not the first time we've seen this come up with we've seen game development and things like that, where funds have needed to be rerouted to other companies working on projects. I believe CD Projekt Red was one of them. I think they were working with a company in Russia, and they had to take them off the project and move it to someone else. I think it was Saber Interactive, but don't 100% quote me on that. So yeah, this is not the first time we've seen something like this happen. And like I said, it kind of sucks for, independent developers that just happen to be from Russia, from no fault of their own. That's just their country. And they have no stake, I assume, in the war between them and the Ukraine, and because of the sanctions, they can't get paid for their work. So that's pretty terrible. As I said, RTSS, Riva Tuner Statistics Server, seems unaffected by this up until now. I guess the main downside is that at some point we could just lose support for newer products using MSI Afterburner, which would be terrible, as I've been using this program for over 10 years now, and I absolutely love it, and I do not like other overclocking softwares. Like, I've tried Precision X, I've tried other things out there years ago, but I always come back to Afterburner. I don't even like the new interface for Afterburner. As you can see, I use the classic interface with a custom skin. This is how Afterburner sort of used to look like, 7-8 years ago, except it was like green and black, and this is a custom skin that I grabbed off of DeviantArt by GrumD. I believe it's called the Flat Black Big Edition by GrumD on DeviantArt. I'll drop a link down in the description below for you if you want to check it out, or maybe in a pinned comment or something. So, yeah, and also because of this, as MSI has had to point out over on their Twitter, that people are now utilizing this as showing fake update versions like 4.6.5, which actually contain malware. So you should really only grab them directly from the MSI website. Although traditionally in the past, I most always get it from Guru 3Ds. I just find their website easier to navigate for grabbing drivers. So I would trust someone like Guru 3D as well. But anyone other than that, like, I wouldn't just grab a zip file off some random website or off of Reddit that someone says is the new version of Afterburner, because it is seemingly dead now, as they are no longer developing it officially. Now, thankfully, there is a good sign at the end of this tunnel, as after this morning, there was an update from Hassan Mujaba from WCCF Tech, where MSI is now trying to resolve the payment issue. So we don't know for sure yet, but there was an update from MSI regarding this, where they said, our product marketing and accounting team are dealing with the problem now. Due to the war, our payment couldn't transfer to the author's bank account successfully. We are still keeping in touch with him and figuring out how to solve this. And again, that's from Hassan over at WCCF Tech, who always does great work over there. So good job on him getting an update from MSI for this story. Now, like I said, they're still trying to get the payment process so that they can get this guy working on the game and the software, and make it worth his while to continue doing so, which is understandable. The guy needs to make money for his work and be able to pay his bills, but there's issues processing that payment. And I'm sure there's other ways they can maybe go about it and sort of bounce payments around here or there. But then again, MSI could get into trouble, out of their base country, which I don't know, if I assume Taiwan or something, or Korea, I don't know, Asia basically, or it could even be the American MSI offices or something, I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. They're having issues making these payments. I assume that they could go to something like crypto, or making payments through back channels, or offering something else in some form of payment. So hopefully they do get it resolved soon, as I think it would be a real shame to lose MSI Afterburner after all of these years, and it could eventually just stop working for newer products. I think it'll, of course, the older versions should continue to conceivably work, unless there are certain like driver updates for new NVIDIA or AMD cards, which could, cause things to break, which would have needed to be patched with Afterburner. So hopefully that's not the case, and it can continue to work for years to come, as it would just be a huge bummer to no longer be able to utilize that software anymore. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Please let me know your thoughts on both of these stories down in the comments below, as I look forward to your feedback, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for another video. Peace.